All right. And we are live. Hello, everyone watching on the live stream. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a special guest, and we are going to send him backstage real quickly. Thank you for those of you who are hanging in with us while we are waiting to get started here. We have a special bonus episode that we are going to record right now, and this will go out on the podcast soon. But lucky you, you get to listen to us record it live. So without any further ado, pardon me, let us kick off this recording in 3, 2.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very, very special bonus episode of the Attractions Podcast. Normally, we are here to tell you all about the news and updates in the theme park world, as well as what's going on in our own lives. But this week, we have a very special guest to talk with. I, of course, am Seth.
I'm Carly.
And this week, our guest is Carlos Alberto Navarro. Carlos's 22-year entertainment career spans the media spectrum, from radio, television, and film to commercials, video games, and stand-up comedy. His rise in acting is reflected in his roles on some of entertainment's biggest cultural phenomenon, including Bloodline, Walking Dead, Red Dead Redemption 2, Madden NFL, The Outsider, Identity Thief, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and what we're especially excited to talk with him about today, Marvel's Hawkeye miniseries on Disney Plus, where he played the villainous role of Enrique in the Tracksuit Mafia. Carlos is one of the only a few Latino actors to cross both the Walking Dead and Marvel comic book movie franchises. But he's also got a long history here in Orlando on the #1 rated Orlando talk show, Monsters in the Morning on iHeartRadio. And he is also active on Instagram. You can find him everywhere. And it is a pleasure to get to talk to him about his career and his love of theme parks. Please, everyone, welcome Carlos Navarro.
Hello.
Yay.
What a wonderful intro. Thank you, Seth.
Thank you. Yes,
hello, Carly.
Your management wrote that intro very, very well.
You know, I
only
great
stumbled
people.
on a few words.
It's all good. Shout out to Jen. She's a great writer and makes me sound fantastic.
Well, you have had a fantastic career, and I got to say, I personally have been following you for a long time. I moved here in 1996, and I grew up in New Jersey listening to Howard Stern in the mornings.
Nice.
So when I moved down here, I had to find the Howard Stern radio station, which led me to 104.1. And they had back then folks like Ed Till and Drew Garabo. But in the middle of the day, there was this weird show, the Russ and Bo Show, which later became Monsters of the Morning, and then later was Monster of the Midday. And they had an intern with a name that's probably not considered politically correct today. And you did all sorts of crazy stunts. You guys got in all sorts of wacky fights on the air that I could never tell if you guys genuinely hated each other sometimes or if it was all a bit. Tell me about getting into your entertainment career. Gosh, this has got to be going back to late 90s, early 2000s in radio. How did you get into this whole crazy business?
Well, first off, Seth, thanks, man, for the so long supporting and hearing me. Yeah, that was 98.
I still have a DVD box set of like 4 DVDs, the concerts. I had Bubba's CDs, all that stuff. Yep.
Dude, you lived in a, Carly, you're obviously much younger than us, and you didn't live in that.
Doesn't have the gray hair. Yeah.
You know, the wild and the crazy
Wild
90s
West of the 90s.
of Orlando radio, and
I'm
was
older than I look. I remember.
Okay. Okay, good. Well, you got good skincare because I can't tell. You got and Seth, man, thank you for that reminder of where it all started. As a young intern, 18 years old, never really knowing radio, stumbling into something, and then with this amazing crew that I've been able to be a part of for over like 20 years now. It's insane. And I'm so grateful for it because of people like you, Seth, and that have become not only supporters, friends, that have helped me really on this journey of entertainment, which, as you know, is very difficult. And you got people that, like you, Seth, who will look at me and be like, man, I remember when you were 18 years old. I'm 42 now. And I don't know of many people who have a career that long that I just really value it. And it set me up for everything I'm doing now, you know?
Wow.
Well,
I think one of the coolest things about radio and the opportunity is it's so hard to get in entertainment wise, but those morning show groups will really take a chance on a young person. And they're still doing it today. There's really nothing like that right now if you're just kind of like a youngster wanting to get involved.
Carly, that is an amazing point that I've never heard anybody really say before. You're so right. Those opportunities were given to those people, and they're not there anymore. There's no interns. I think that's all moved in maybe more social media, kind of create your own kind of world, maybe. But you're right, like in the sense of like a professional atmosphere where you're learning the industry, you're learning from broadcasters. I started in production actually. Shout out to Dave Green, still the head of production at iHeart, and he gave a shout on this young kid who said, "I'll mop the floors." I literally wrote, "I'll mop the floors." Like that, like I was a little like, it's a hard knock life for us, and thankfully that kind of stuck with them. So yeah, it's where I started, and I love it. Every day I get to go and entertain and be silly. And those people who have followed me from them are the same ones that are like, dude, I moved to Virginia and I moved to over here, but I saw you on Hawkeye and I saw you on Walking Dead and I screamed at the TV. You can't imagine how many people just come up to me in a Winn-Dixie as I'm trying to buy some beef and have said, Carlos, man, when I saw you on Bloodline, when I saw you, like, it warms my heart. And I genuinely feel it's the reason I've been as fortunate and successful as I have been in this very difficult industry.
Well, your acting career has been blowing up in recent years, but you still. I know there was a time where you left the Monsters, but you came back and you're still there. Was it 5 hours every morning? What is it like to do? That's like the entertainment equivalent of like a hard labor morning shift job.
You're right.
What keeps you going? Getting up, getting to the studio every morning.
Man, love this question because I kind of was built for this, Seth. I was you can see my energy, right? In 5 hours, I don't know if I was kind of created in the midst of this 5-hour show or if I was built for it, but I love it. Like, I couldn't imagine doing a 3-hour show. Russ and I will look at each other. And first off, Real Radio 104.1. Why don't you tune in Monday through Friday? Russ, Ryan, Angel, Angelique, Savannah, your boy Los. We talk about everything. We talk about theme parks a lot, actually. But we are just kind of all built the same in that sense of like entertainment wise, like similar to a theme park ride, right? You're going to group together those who work together on this show the best. You're going to group together on these dark rides where people are going to work together logistically and entertainment wise. There are people that come on the show and work really well together. And we've always worked really, really well together. So I'm just grateful for the have 5 hours to perform. And that's the way I see it. It's a show. And you'll hear me say some crazy stuff in different voices. And there's really nothing else kind of like it for 5 hours. And I'm going to do it until they tell me I can't come in anymore. How about that?
Well, I don't think they're hopefully they won't kick you out anytime.
No, I don't think so. They like me.
So you mentioned how people who know you from back in the day on radio get excited over seeing you on TV. I'm one of those people. I can remember, I think it was something at the Shakespeare Center. It might have been a Fringe show really early on, going back at least 20 years.
Dude, that was my first show I ever did, Seth, at the Shakespeare Center.
Was it something with cards? Was something with
yes
cards? Yep.
Seth, you're warming my heart right now, brother. Like that was do you know, remember it was the play was called it was a really interesting, Carly. You'd like this. It was 52 cards.
Yes,
And they would
yes.
flip them and shuffle them. And whatever card pulled up was the scene that we had to perform. It was a
Oh.
play, bipolar. It wasn't even like a funny play, but like
No, it was serious, but it was all chopped up. And it was,
yeah,
and you
shuffling
had to-
straight. That's what it's called. Shuffling
And you
straight.
guys had to be able to jump and know exactly what scene you were on.
Yeah.
Man, that was like an actor's nightmare.
But, okay, it's fun, Seth, but you say that, right? That's an actor's nightmare. That was my dream. I live for stuff like that. You know, I'm not a Shakespearean actor. I'm not going to nail every word. I'm not your guy when it comes to stillness. I literally just left an audition where it took everything in my power to stay still. Like, you see my energy. And I know there's so many things I need to work on as an actor. Still 20 years in the game, and I'm still taking the notes. I'm still trying to get better. I'm still learning. And so, you know, it's just stuff like that. When you mention something like that, Seth, thank you, man. That was when I'd never booked anything. I'd never booked a TV show. It was a fringe festival thing, but I learned so much. A live audience, a director, different characters, all that stuff comes into play. And I think people forget they have to do that in order to succeed on a Marvel set. You got to be able to show up at the Fringe Festival and do your thing. If you don't have that, you're going to blow it here.
Yeah.
Pressure's way more here. Cameras are on you here. You got Kevin Feige looking at you over here. You know what I'm saying? And over here, this is where you get your learning. And
yeah, absolutely. And then you know, I can remember seeing you pop up on an episode of Prison Break.
Yes.
And then you did a film with a bunch of friends of mine, like Russ Blackwell and Avis Murray Barnes, called Casadega, horror movie.
Oh my God. Seth, you didn't need the profile, bro. You were like telling like acting life story, and it's like,
so how did you get those initial jobs in film and television? Did you go to like cattle call auditions? Did you have an agent who believed in you before you had done anything? How'd you get that foot in the door for
yes on
work?
all that? But dude, you are bringing up my first real film, or other than Identity Thief. But how did I get it? It's as classic of a kind of chronological way an actor could. I started by wanting to direct and then I got an acting class, and then the acting teacher was like, "No, you need to do this for a living." I was very aloof with it. I was very like, "Oh, this is fun. I got my radio show," but I knew I wanted to do something, but I was like, acting sounds cool. And then around 23, I was like, she goes, no, and God rest her soul. She was like, no, Carlos, you have to do this. It was my acting teacher who changed my life. So I was like, I should probably do this. And so, man, I started off extra in a Monday Night Football commercial, an extra in a student film for FSU driving to Tallahassee. I haven't thought about this stuff in a while. I did anything and everything, because I thought to myself, well, there's a quote I like to say, passion is patience and patience is passion. And anything you have a lot of patience for, you tend to have a lot of passion for. And I found myself being at these shoots where people would be wanting to, you know, go crazy, just like, ooh, I'm on set. Ooh, look at the camera. Ooh, look at this. And I could have stayed there forever. And it was a small shoot. And then you fast forward to a Walking Dead, or you fast forward to an Identity Thief, and it's all the same feeling. It's all the same feeling. Bigger budgets, bigger sets, bigger stars. But if you don't have that love in the beginning of whatever it is that you want to do, it doesn't have to be acting. It could be whatever. You'll have that same joy later on. So I was just like, oh, anytime I got something, Seth, it was a win. A lot of people thought, oh, if I didn't book this and by this time it's a loss. I was always like, oh, I get to be an extra in this, win. Oh, I got my first commercial taste, win. So I would always get these little things like little kind of latches up, and it worked.
No, I love that, because today we're like an instant gratification society. And no one appreciates every little notch is something that gets you to where you need to go. I love that.
Yeah, Carly, I'm glad you pointed that out, because people think, oh, I want to be this. I want to be this. And you have to be careful about focusing on what you want to become. You have to focus on what you need to get there. People think you become something. No, it's all of the journey that you will go. You'll look in your life, the job, the people that you met along the way. They all craft this story, and it doesn't come easy. You have to focus on it. And I think that's, what a lot of people can kind of focus on,
Hmm. I promise that we are going to talk about theme parks with you, but I gotta just touch on a couple roles, and it does tie into theme parks eventually, because 2016 was a huge year for you. You were on The Walking Dead in a major recurring role, and of course, Walking Dead has some serious theme park ties here in Orlando.
Oh yeah.
And you also did an episode of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, where you played a guy who was decapitated and had your neck replaced with a pig neck,
Yeah.
and
No.
it happened took place at Universal, so it involved Rip Ride Rocket, and so I'm wondering if you have any memories either of learning to horseback ride for Walking Dead, or of filming inside Universal for Kimmy Schmidt, because those would both be, as a theme park fan, and those would both be kind of dream gigs.
Seth and Carly, let me tell you something, okay? Let me tell you something. As a young little boy growing up in Orlando, Florida, my summers were spent collecting 2-day passes for Universal Studios, so I could go the next day for free. My summers were spent wanting to go to Magic Kingdom, I'm a theme park junkie. As a boy, I didn't even know I wanted to act. I got on Get the Picture. Remember Nickelodeon Studios?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you do. And I got on Legends of the Hidden Temple. Oh, my first taste of entertainment. And I loved it. We were backstage. We were eating pizza. We were in candy. I thought to myself, I didn't know at the time, oh, man, I would love to do something. But what if I could work on this studio like Steven Spielberg? I'm a Steven Spielberg nut. And he, remember, Universal Studios, he just set up an office there. Mm-hmm. And when I tell you guys that I've been fortunate enough to shoot for Disney in their parks, to be in Kimmy Schmidt as this crazy character at Universal Studios with Tina Fey and Lisa Kudrow, everybody watching and listening right now, as much as you love theme parks, I did too, and to be amongst these amazing people, it was a dream, a little Orlando boy dream come true. So it couldn't have been any more special. I soaked it all in. Tina Fey loves theme parks. Let me tell you, when we did Kimmy Schmidt, she was like, so cool. I didn't know she was going to be there, but then I realized she loves theme parks. She wanted to do everything in Orlando so she could come to the theme parks, but there was no tax incentive. So we talked, and she's like, Carlos, what ride should I go on? I'm like, oh, you got to do this one. This was like when one of the newer rides came out, and she would go away and go on it. And so the attractions, man, all the theme parks, and then to be an actor, it's just like, it's cake with extra good icing.
Oh, I got to go back to Nick Studios, because that is like some of my favorite memories of like going to tapings there. I'm friends with Kirk Fogg. He's an awesome guy.
Nice.
So tell me, did you ever work production side once you got available?
You know, I did not work production side. I totally would have. In fact, like I said, I kind of get into it for directing first, but and I did TV production for 4 years in high school, and I was going to go, and I actually went to Valencia Film School, but then I got the job at the radio station. So production has always been, especially now in this social media world, YouTube world, everything we're doing now, production, that's what I tell actors. They say, hey, what should I be to be an actor? I said, learn every software you can. What? Yeah, you're going to have to shoot your auditions. You're going to have to message your agents. You're going to have to be able to Photoshop your pictures, and you're going to have to know social media. Acting is the most fun, easy part of it. And if you get to do it, you're lucky. So production has always benefited me. And it'll benefit most actors. It will absolutely hurt you if you have no appreciation for production, Carly, because you're going to be a little lost on set. And you're going to get bored because you're not appreciating how difficult it is to do what these geniuses are doing,
Right. So really... production, we have to talk about Marvel. Tell us everything.
Well, it was walking onto the biggest sets and the most massive, obviously budget that I'd ever been a part of. And I've been on some big shows, Walking Dead and a lot of stuff, but the level that Marvel, and especially for those who follow it, know it was like it was the first of the 4 TV shows, a big deal within the whole universe. Haley and Jeremy, and And it was as spectacular as I thought it was. It is a massive, gigantic production beast. They don't move on until it's right. For those who are wondering, TV shows are moved very quickly, and it used to be more so back in the day before the limited series kind of thing. So you would have to be moving. Hey, we got to get this done. Walking Dead was like that. You know, a lot of people complain, oh, Walking Dead, what about? They were shooting those episodes in 10-day periods and getting them out. Think about that.
Yeah.
You know, like that's insane.
Aggressive.
So Marvel's like, yo, we're going to shoot this. We're going to get it right. And there'd be days that we didn't shoot anything. Me and the bros would be sitting in our trailers eating food like, blah, 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 blah. And then there'd be days we'd be shooting all day. And the reason everything comes out as good as it does is they know their audience, and their production is top notch. The cast or the crew is literally the best in the world, and just so accommodating too.
Right. Were you nervous? You seem very confident.
I was not nervous. I've gotten to a point in my life where if they told me to do a bunch of math problems on a stage, I'd be nervous because that's not in my, kind of wheelhouse. But I think you do get nervous if you have a feeling like, wow, how did I get here? I stumbled across this. A lot of people deal with this. Most people aren't fulfilled because they're like, I feel like I've gotten this in life, but do I deserve it? Imposter syndrome, this and that. And I've been very specific about what I wanted. I would literally write down, I want to be a bad guy in a comic book movie. Give me the opportunity. Like, this is years in the making, Carly. So when it came about in a very bizarre time, I was ready for it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't say that to be boastful. I say it with pride because I put in a lot of work. And so I was just ready for it. And I'm so glad that it connected with the audience like it did, you know?
Right.
All right. Well, I think for a second, we're going to put aside Carlos, the actor, and talk instead to Carlos, the theme park fan. And by the way, we've got some folks in the comments who want to say hi. Paris, giving you a shout out.
What up, bro?
Carlos is the man. Thank you. So let's talk theme parks. Obviously, the big rivalry for fans here. You're either a Disney fan or a Universal fan. You can be both. But honestly, most of us, our heart goes one way or the other. I hear a rumor that you were a Universal kid growing up, and that you would just get dropped off there and spend the day there, like being babysat by the theme park.
We were just talking about chaperone policies.
Is that true, and is that carried through to adulthood?
Seth, I think you've been the closest to James Lipton in my interviewing career. Like, you literally are hitting on some of these that are okay. We're a house divided in a sense, but let me explain further to you. Yes, I grew up with a little tin little tin can, and I had a little hole, and I put a picture of Universal around it, and it was the pamphlets you get at the roadside stands, right? You know, and it was coming. Universal Studios was coming. It wasn't even here yet, and it was a jar like, hey, donate to Carlos's and Universal Fund, and so luckily. And those who are OG theme park people remember the preview pass at Universal. It was 89, 90, whenever it opened up, maybe 90, Seth and Carly, you would know better. And basically the only thing open was Murder, She Wrote. E.T. was the big one. E.T. was, you've never seen anything like this. Guess what? Steven Spielberg intros it. And then they had Jets or Hanna-Barbera. And I think that was about it, right, guys?
Yeah, just
Very
about.
small,
Yeah. And Alfred Hitchcock and
yes.
Ghostbusters came a
and
little while
Ghostbusters.
after. Yep.
So I fell in love. I was like, oh my God. I waited in the ET line for 6 hours. Okay. And for every second I waited, it was worth it. To this day, I thought that Steven Spielberg was going to be in the ride as well. Like, I genuinely was like nervous that I might meet him. So fast forward, my 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I'm there all the time. Now, I always loved Disney, but Disney more expensive, especially at the time. And Universal did this you buy one ticket, you get another day free. Now think about that now, okay? You buy a ticket and they're like, come on back the next day, same price, don't worry about it. Kind of comical. Well, my mom, God rest her soul, was like, listen, we didn't have a babysitter. I'll drop you off there. She's like, listen, try and find some tickets and then you get the next day for free. And I'm like, So we walked around, me and my buddy, shout out to Jason Factor. I hope he's listening. And we walked around to adults, like little kids, and be like, will you give us your tickets? We're leaving. We're from Iowa and we want to go. And they'd give us a ticket. So we stocked up all these tickets. And for a summer, we went to Universal Studios every single day with $5. My mom gave me like $5, which, like, got you nothing. And it was, I loved it. As you can see, it still holds dear. Now, I got married at Disney.
Oh, really?
The Talls. Okay.
Tell us about where did Mickey attend the ceremony?
Guys, a lot of things happened.
At the top of the castle? Where?
So my brother is an executive. My brother-in-law is an executive at Disney. My wife dreamed of being married as a little kid. They are, when pass holders since it first came out. My wife's family, my family is so connected with Disney in so many ways. They've been obsessed with it. And I always loved it too, but just like, as you know, Disney a little more expensive. So when we merged 17 years ago, it was a beautiful sight. And we got married at the wedding pavilion. And then at the Grand Floridian was the reception. And it was glorious. And we're year-round members, annual pass holders. I have to tell you, I haven't ridden the new Guardians ride. I'm very upset about that.
Oh, no.
I'm very upset about that. I haven't ridden the new Ratatouille. I'm just kind of busting myself out right now because I feel guilty. But I kind of pride myself on pretty much trying to ride and do everything I can at the theme parks.
Do you have a favorite restaurant?
I would say, that's a good. Do you, Carly? I'll ask you first if you give me a second to think.
Ooh, it's so hard. I like so many. It's probably going to be at Magic Kingdom, like Skipper Canteen, because I love it.
I like that's a good one. That's a good one.
Pick.
I like a good Casey's dog. I'm a regular common Joe.
Yeah.
And then of course Simpsons World. I go over to Moe's and have a fake beer. Yeah. And but I definitely we're the after tours for sure now when it comes to the annual pass where one ride, get some food. We just got back from the Disney cruise.
We are definitely
we're gonna get to that.
Oh yeah.
But we're lifers, man. We're like we're about that life. So it works itself kind of cool when I get to be a part of like literally the stuff as well.
All right. So I've got a couple rumors that I have to ask you about. And then Carly's got wants to know a couple favorites. Get your hot takes on a few of your favorites. Do you have a large collection of Simpsons merchandise?
I would say a large collection. Used to.
Okay.
Used to have an entire room filled with Simpsons merchandise, and it's a sad story, Seth. I don't want to talk about it too much. Kind of hurts the heart. It was a rough period.
Don't mean to bring up that.
Yeah, as you can see, I'm trying to collect again. I'm trying to, as collectors, we never stop collecting. We always collect.
Have you ever been a character?
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, what was that like? Where was that?
It was not at Busch Gardens. Okay. Now.
Okay.
It was not at Universal Studios.
Okay.
Now there is a ride. Now this is kind of cool attractions. During Howl Scream, I am one of the characters in one of their haunted houses. I am Dr. Something, and I die on the ride, and it's me there, and it's like, we have to get out of here. And it's like an unearthing, and it's really cool. And it was one of their main rides, and I think they still bring it back. Anyway, so then there's a place called, like, it's a independent haunted house. It's over off of Altamont and Shallow Grave or something like that. And yeah, they asked me to be, and I always wanted to be a part of it, but I never wanted to get like fully dressed up, like all makeup and stuff. And then I did it, and I was way too hardcore and overzealous. I was screaming things. I get way too intense. And I saw the video afterwards, and I was like, Oh God, Carlos, they're just kids. They're just kids.
You gotta
signed
pace
up for
yourself,
it.
man. You gotta pace yourself. You do that whole season, you'll kill yourself.
I know it was one night. I only
Yeah,
had one
one
night. It
night
was-
and you were done. All right, Carly. Carly's got a few favorites that she's curious about.
Yes. Oh,
What you
well,
got?
first, I see in the chat someone wants to know, how did you do on Legends of the Hidden Temple?
Oh yes, there we go.
Oh man, that is another sad story, Carly. But get the picture now. I'll first start with get the picture.
Yeah.
The auditions. If you, as an Orlando guy, these auditions would come about, and you're like, "This is my shot. I could get on Nick Jr. I could get on Nickelodeon Game Show." And I worked hard to get on Get the Picture. And so I get on Get the Picture. I destroy first round. Boom, getting every answer right. Boom. Second round, kind of choked. Started answering questions too quickly, and the other team caught up. I lost. Brokenhearted. Michael Malley even took my name tag, made me cry. Now, Legends of the Hidden Temple. I felt like I was a game show contestant veteran at this point. I'd already learned the ways, and there was a bunch of kids. And you know how the teams worked out there, right? And then you got this, and I'm looking across the room, and I'm trying to match myself up with maybe somebody that fits me. And I see this brunette girl who is very she looks like, okay, she's good. And then I saw the other girl who was complaining and mad that she was there. She didn't want to be a part of it. And they link me up with this girl, and I'm like, "Excuse me." And you want to know the first thing she says to me, Carly? She walks up to me and she says, "I have no upper body strength." And I'm like, "Oh my God." And so Legends of the Hidden Temple being a very physical show, our first event was a stroll across the pool.
Yes.
She's in water. It was a mess. I don't want to talk about it.
No.
Well, we're bringing up all sorts of
You guys
bad
are
memories.
Barbara Walters and Howard
like
Stern.
A therapy session. You didn't know what you were getting into when you were.
I thought we were talking about the Velociraptor ride.
Well, so we do want to talk about attractions, your favorites, missed. What is your current favorite right now? Maybe it is Velocicoaster.
The Harry Potter roller coaster. That one is absolutely amazing. And I'll be honest, I have not been on the Velociraptor ride. Now, this is my pitch to any gold member, Universal Disney card carrying member that gets people to the front of the ride. I'll buy you cotton candy. I'll buy you a turkey leg. I'll get you a drink. I won't tell your boss. Give me to the front of the line.
There's no express pass for that one. You got to find someone to give you one of those guest services.
That's what I'm saying. I want an exec.
Cards.
Yeah,
you need someone in a tie to help you out with that one.
Are there any extinct attractions or shows at Universal that you miss?
Back to the Future.
Oh yeah.
Let's be honest. I'm a Simpsons guy, so it's kind of odd.
Right.
But can we remember that moment we went on that Back to the Future ride? Can we remember when it was groundbreaking? When you walked up and you're like, okay, what is this? Okay, I get it. I've been on Hanna-Barbera. That's okay. I can look over. No. What you're about to experience is Hanna-Barbera on crack. And that's what it was. You got in this Back to the Future ride and it was perfect. And did you have to get a bacchiotomy afterwards? Yeah. A lot of old ladies threw out their backs in that and some bigger men. But bring it back. Bring at least a couple cards back.
Right. Oh, that would be so nice. So family favorite rides right now. What are you riding at Disney Universal with your fam?
Mickey's Chinese theater ride. It's fantastic.
So good. Yeah.
So good. I love the track. I love the trackless kind of deal. I love how I have a 2-year-old as well. So they've incorporated this different versions of Mickey where he's, more Teen Titans-ish kind of Mickey. And that's great. Now, I'll be honest. I dreamed as a kid of being at the helm of that Chinese theater track and being a cowboy and being in the gangster scene and fooling the audience. There was a part of me that was a bit remiss that went away. I auditioned one time for Universal, did not even get a callback. Okay. and never auditioned for Disney. I booked several Disney commercials, obviously Marvel stuff. Universal, I booked obviously like Kimmy Schmidt, a lot of commercials. My first ever shoot, Monday Night Football, was on the back lots of Universal. That was really cool too. And even like for those who like are wondering, so I'm at Universal and you'll see all the actors stay in their trailer, and I'm like, I'm walking around the park. I'm going over here, I'm going over there, I'm buying a turkey. Like I just enjoy it. Because I know how special it is to be shooting at these places. The first Derek Jeter commercial I did, I was at Universal. It's so connected. I wish it was actually a bigger part of it all. It's
Right.
diminished over the years, the acting and kind of shooting part of it. But maybe it'll come back. Tax incentive one day.
Yeah, well, the whole Hollywood East thing didn't quite work out.
No,
that also ended with the 90s.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you have most anticipated attraction, something that's maybe under construction that you're looking forward to seeing?
I think I got to go with Tron on that one. I mean, everything about what they're doing. Every time I ride by, every time I look, I'm peeping. Wow, look at that. I hear the Guardians ride is absolutely amazing. And once again, I haven't been on that. I did go on the California one, so that was cool.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as anything new, like what are some of the obviously all of Epic. Like I'm dying to see Epic and Super Mario Land or Super Nintendo Land. I think that's a big deal, man. I think they have the opportunity to shift the landscape of attractions with this whole burgeoning of that side of iDrive and just a whole nother part. People don't understand, like that's a huge deal landscape wise.
Oh, absolutely. I feel everything's going to change with Epic Universe. I mean, and just leveling the playing field between Universal and Disney anyway,
Yeah. Because isn't there the airport track's going to go straight to Universal now?
They're talking about extending the Bright Line and having it meet up right in that area, having a hub right there. So, yeah, the idea of being able to get from the airport to a theme park without a rental car would be a game changer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Carly, unless you have another question left on that list, I think it might be time to take a little station break for our sponsor.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at mei-travel.com.
It's time for the main attraction.
All right, as we promised at the very top of the show, the main attraction is for our conversation with Carlos. He recently got to take a cruise with a Marvel Day at Sea on the Disney Cruise Line and got to meet his alter ego. Tell us what that entire experience was like. First of all, which Disney ship were you on? When was this?
It was the Dream, and it's beautiful. It was just literally 2 weeks ago, no. Yeah, it was about 2 weeks ago. My daughter's birthday, January 19th, and wow, my wife and I were fortunate enough to go 15 years earlier for our honeymoon. See, I told you I was a Disney person. Okay, we went on a Disney cruise for our honeymoon.
Yep.
So, it's I don't know if you know, but they're kind of expensive. So it was like, we're gonna go again next year. And you know what? Well, after we have, and so finally, thankfully, we have a wonderful uncle, or my kids have a wonderful uncle who is also a Disney exec, and he's like, we're going on the cruise. So now let's go. Let's do it. Now, the fact that it was a Marvel cruise was the cherry on the sundae. My daughter, diehard Marvel fan, wasn't before I booked Hawkeye, which is kind of the fun, cool thing. She was a Stranger Things girl. She's 12. So, and then as I was shooting Hawkeye, and I brought her out to Atlanta, and we stayed out there, and she's like, "Do you think I'd like Marvel, Dad?" I'm like, "I do." And And so luckily she just is a geek about it, like we kind of all are. And so we heard about the Marvel cruise even before I had actually booked. And it's like, or it was in the midst of that. And it's like, oh yeah, we'll do that. So we do the cruise. We're there. I'm not in a million years thinking that the Tracksuit Mafia is going to be a part of the Marvel cruise. I mean, I know they're in California. That was pretty cool for the Hawkeye premiere. They had the actual characters of the track, me and my crew up there. But then on the second day, I'm walking to and if you ever been to a cruise, the pizza place is very popular because you just go there several times a day, even after you've had your 16th slice. You're like, I need one more.
You never have too much
for
pizza.
it. So I walk down and I see these two guys in tracksuits, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, like cosplayers, because there was a big Marvel night, and they walk up and they're doing, I'm like, oh my gosh, and they're like, hey, bro, how you doing, bro? And I'm like, bro, I'm the bro. I'm like, no, bro, you're the bro. I'm like, no, I'm the bro. And they were so in character, of course. And I pulled out my phone. I'm like, no, I'm the bro, because I had to at that moment, right? Like, I'm staring at them, and they're like, oh, you're the bro. Long story short, guys, they have a Marvel show, an extravaganza on the ship, and I'm sure you guys have probably been on the ships and stuff like that, but the entire freaking thing was the Tracksuit Mafia fighting Kate Bishop, fighting. It was my daughter and I are looking at each other like, I can't believe the director came over and talked to me. I took a picture with them. They were ecstatic. And here's the crazy thing. This is why life is a simulation, folks. That ship at that time was the first time the Tracksuit Mafia had made it onto that stage.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wild. Oh my God. I remember when they announced it last year, it was Coming to the Dream. And I was like, this is going to be amazing. So you said your daughter, 12-year-old, loves it. That's some like teenage currency at school. Like you don't really get richer than that. Like, hey, that's my dad.
Carly, it's funny because I always, like if you're an actor, at least this is how I felt. When my daughters are young, one is a lot younger. I was always like, man, I hope I book something cool so that my daughter's not like, yeah, he's in every Law and Order, but he's the crackhead or whatever, and damn it, if I didn't book it at the perfect time, like Marvel to like in 5th, 6th, 7th, like. It is very funny. Now I'm very involved, Dad. I'm a softball coach. We're very connected, and my wife is also in entertainment. She has a YouTube channel. She's a designer, so she's been around this life and world. But it took a whole, when the teachers and the kids are wanting the Marvel pictures and autographs, stuff like that. I just said, hey, that teacher better give you an A, okay? If she wants this one with Jeremy on it, okay?
Did anyone who was on the cruise with you, other than the director, did anyone recognize you, or did you?
Yeah, dude, Seth, it is a very funny thing. We do a YouTube show every day on a radio show, so thousands of people watch us every day, and of course, people who follow, just like you, Seth, would see me in a Publix and be like, "Yo, Los, whatever." But now I get to go around the nation and go to different conventions, and because of the massive popularity of these shows and the characters that I've played and been associated with, it's for me, like it's everything, because all you want as an actor is for your work to be regarded. It's you don't gotta be the best, but hey, for somebody to be like, yo, man, I saw you on that thing, that was pretty good. Or for somebody to come out to your show, even Shuffling Straight, and be like, dude, I remember that. That's what you want as an actor. You want to leave that mark. I think we all want to leave that mark with whatever we do, and I feel good about that. I feel like I've put in the work. I'm not close to being done, but the work that I've put out there is connected with people. So yeah, like people wearing Trust a Bro shirts even before then, and it's been surreal. It's been an amazing ride.
That's fantastic. I was curious. you've done a lot of voiceover work for video games. And one of the few exceptions that usually Marvel, if they cast you in one role, that's your only role in the Marvel universe. But they make an exception where they let sometimes people voice multiple roles in video games or in animation. So is there a Marvel character that you would want to voice in a cartoon or in a video game?
Great question. I immediately thought like Rocket, the raccoon, because he's always crazy and he's doing. I'm gonna shoot you. I think that'd be fun. But I love what DC, and not to bring up DC in the midst of Marvel, but I like how they are like now resetting the kind of stage and everything's kind of fresh and new. I love the What If Marvel series. So maybe like, I don't know. Nothing kind of stands out in my mind, but I think I'd like to do like some of their kids stuff too, like their Spider-Man Junior stuff. Like here comes, oh no, here comes the Spider-Man. I like stuff like that. I like the kid stuff.
Well, then you could resonate with the youngest one now.
100%. Yeah, I definitely do a lot of voices for her to listen to me because she's wild and crazy just like her daddy. So she's like, I want another voice.
So before we leave the cruise behind, what were there any other highlights of the cruise other than getting recognized and being the star on stage?
Well, it was so well done. It's Disney. And I've been a part of a lot of monster cruises, Royal Radio cruises, where it was debauchery and wildness and craziness. And this was like a beautiful, fun-filled family memorable cruise. The islands were just my daughter gets off, she's like, wow, so this is an island? I'm like, yeah, she's never been on an island. And then we had to go to Cozumel, and I was like, it's gonna look a little different at Cozumel. It's not and because the island's basically one giant theme park ride, and so their Marvel theme was so much. It was way more than I thought. And it makes sense now that this was this new show because it was like She-Hulk. They had fireworks. They had the Pirates Night, which was fantastic. And just overall, man, the food was great. We had a wonderful time. You have a bad time on some of these cruises, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Wise man said that.
But the Disney cruise line does ruin you from other cruises. I can share.
And your fans can know that just because you are a big star on a Disney-owned TV show does not mean they throw cruises at you for free.
No,
you don't get a discount for being
here. No discount though. No,
but they should.
Yeah, you know what? Carly, if you have somebody at the cruise line that you want to pass them 10% discount, pass it on down the line.
You're available.
Well, I have my last question for you was, what else are you working on? What can we look forward to seeing you in? If you can't break any non-disclosure agreements, but
definitely can't on the Marvel side. But as you know, whenever they kind of introduce people into the stage show world of that stuff, it's usually a good sign. Usually means like, hey, we're gonna stick around with these people for a while. Right. Kevin, I got to meet all the great people at Marvel, and they couldn't be nicer. They couldn't be bigger fans of what they do. I have a lot of good energy with them, and I can't wait to be able to see them all again one day. On another front, some great opportunities here that some new shows that you'll be seeing here soon. And then on a different kind of similar world, I've really been focused on helping people, like on a personal development, coaching, motivational speaking kind of approach. It's something I've always done. I've been through some different things in my life that I've learned a lot from. And so it's been a big focus this year of getting out there, talking to people, helping people. And you can actually check it out at tothetopneverstop.com for a little bit more of that. But other than that, family and softball and pizza and soda.
And getting up really early every day.
Super early. Yeah, today was one of those days where it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, then do a radio show, then go to your audition for a massive TV show, and then come back here and do a rockin' podcast with the attractions aficionado Carly and Seth, and then go be softball dad.
Well, but I hope you get to squeeze in a nap in between.
I think I may need one.
I don't know, either that or some coffee. I don't know where you get the energy. I want to thank you so much for being with us here today. Before we go, I want to thank once again our sponsor, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Remind everyone to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and a rating on Spotify. If folks want to follow you online, Carlos, where can they find you on the interwebs?
On the interwebs, in your show and in your magazine and everything's so popular. The second I posted, everybody was all excited about being on. So everybody who joined, thank you. Real easy on all social media channels. It's at To The Top Carlos. And then if you want to go to my website, it's iamcarlosnavarro.com for all of your Carlitos news.
Excellent. And I know we have a lot of fans who have been watching. I'm going to throw up a couple really quick. We had Blossom and Terry saying hello. We had
Hello,
Buddy R, Ale Flores saying hey, and Weiser and 4GQ all chiming in to say hello to you.
love it.
Carly, where can folks find you?
Yes, I am on Twitter at Carly Caramana and Instagram at Adventures by Carly.
Nice.
And you can find me at the UG series on Twitter, at the Unofficial Guides on Instagram, and at theunofficialguides.com. And of course, you can always find the entire Attractions Magazine crew here for you 24/7 at attractionsmagazine.com, at Attractions on Twitter, at Attractions Magazine on Instagram, youtube.com/attractionsmagazine, and at Attractions on TikTok. Carlos, thank you so much for being with us. This was a fantastic interview.
Had a blast.
After you, maybe after you finally get on Velocicoaster and Ratatouille and Guardians, we can have you back on, and you can tell us what you think of them.
Yes.
It's a date. It's a date. I promise. I can't wait to be able to come. And Tron. Let's throw Tron in there too.
Once I do that bingo, all right,
then I'll be back right here on Attractions.
It's a promise. Until then, we hope you folks stay safe, try something new, but most importantly, have fun. And we will see you again next time. Bye.